Welcome to the Love Government. I'm Dennis Leary. We're doing a series of videos called Sex Signs. And we are now on the 28th episode of these sex signs. I've been talking about the Catholic Mass, the Roman Catholic Church Mass, as a sign, a sexual sign in itself of our culture, radiating out to other aspects of our secular and religious culture today. I've been describing what goes on in a Catholic Mass. Now, I was a Catholic priest and I said many Masses. That these ceremonies, these symbols, these rites are relevant to our culture. Not in the same way, but in a adjusted type of way for what's going on. The Roman Catholic Church is still in existence. It's suffering some losses, but it is a patriarchal system made up of all men at the top. The Pope, the bishops, the cardinals, they're all men at this point. Now, women are coming in a little bit at the bottom now into the church to help out, and they're up around the altar as deacons, deaconesses, and helping out a lot, but still, it's a male-dominated system. I want to talk now about how the Catholic Church as a system relates to the previous pagan system of Roman Empire. And then we need to get back to the love culture, which started it all, as far as we're concerned. And it's very different from what it's been changed into. It's been changed into a patriarchal system, and it used to be a loverarchal system. That's the juice of it. That's the thing that we're going back to. Now, we use the word Mass as a sign, as a symbol, and we say Mass is short for masturbation, by either design or by coincidence. Mass refers to masturbation in the love culture. Now that gradually got blotted out, killed off, rewritten by the pagans, and now it's totally rewritten in our secular culture and our religious culture today. People that go to Mass, say Mass, celebrate Mass, have no idea. This is shocking. It's silly, it's stupid to them to link the Mass with masturbation. But it's the truth, the way I see it. Because in the ancient love culture, masturbation was the main activity. Because it was highly loving, highly sexual, open, communal. We didn't have all the guilt, shame, and things that proceeded from the fall of man, which was jealous patriarchal men began to kill off that love culture out of jealousy and hatred. Now the love culture was in a garden. It's called the Garden of Eden. There's a big truth to that. We were embedded in nature by water, always by water, by a well, a stream, a river, an ocean, a lake. Water. We needed water because we are water. 98% of water, whatever. Our bodies are water. And so that is where we were born. We appeared in a garden. It was a grove. It was a sacred grove of trees around water, embedded in a natural setting. That's the point to get clear. That's how we appeared in our beginnings. In small groups, 30 to 60 to 100, whatever. Small groups gathering in sacred groves and then living our life. Now there wasn't much to do. Like we have a lot to do today. A lot of work and pay the bills and run here and run there. But in the love culture, it was much more relaxed because our food needs were taken care of. eat in vegan diet. You just go out and pick the food. Didn't take too long. Near the water, living in a close community. The animals were free animals around the perimeter. We did not make them pets. We did not kill them. Not in the beginning. That came later. And then the very core of it was womb-centered. That's what we're talking about, the clitoris, clitoral thinking. The womb circle was at the center. The women were the center of the culture. Maiden, mother, matrons. The matrons kind of governed it. Not in a power-over situation, but in a sharing situation. So you can imagine, you still see traces of it, of that type of community. Women at the center with their children around them of all ages. And then the men were on the outside of the circle until they were invited in. It was woman focal. But the men were the outer perimeter of support between the wild animals and the inner culture of women. That's the way the love culture is set up to work. And it works wonderfully. It worked for a long time and was set up, it was prepared for, and it lasted for quite a while. Many of these small communities, in Africa we're talking about, this is the template. This is the operating instructions. This is the blueprint. This is our nature, Mother Nature, Lover Nature. This is where we get our juice from. That's why it's so important to know that, to feel it, to practice it, so that we do know it in every cell of our body. But something happened. Something terrible happened. And that's called the fall of man, the rebellion, the great evil, the great Satan. Nothing like, up in the sky, angels falling down. That's nothing. It happened in the garden. Jealous patriarchal men didn't like that. They didn't have the power. And if they're jealous, now a real man, that doesn't bother. I don't care. I don't mind that. I love it. Because I consider myself a real man. In the making, of course. But a jealous man, an insecure man, a man whose mind is already a little bit off, it does bother him. And so he gets together with his fellows and they start to plot how to overthrow that system, how to get the power for themselves. And it comes again through the blood. Women are able to bleed naturally and not die. The power is in the blood. Men put two and two together and started to kill animals that have that red blood. That way they can vicariously shed blood and not die like the women and gather the power. And still in some cultures we do that, or up until recently. Men have cut their penises in order to simulate that. And circumcision is even kind of a way of that, of bloodletting. So in the bloodletting, in the killing, with your fist, or with a spear, with a sword, and later on with bows and arrows, and then guns, and now drones, and airplanes, and bombs, and missiles, there's a blood rush that happens, especially at the beginning, if you're not used to it. There's an adrenaline rush with the killing, and the bonding with the men. Then the blood count of the man rises. And he gets powerful, macho man, power, Boom, boom, hail, Caesar. And then he takes his power and he begins to kill off the love culture. And his object is to kill the women and their way of life. And that's still the case today. If you get under all the lies and all the deception, you will find out it's a program by patriarchal men to kill the women because they don't want the women to regain control. That's their big fear. So, the men began to be powerful and they started to lie to the women, saying, oh, this lifestyle, eating red-blooded animals, is so much better, so quicker. It's fast food. You get this charge, and they tell them, you get to be really, really sexy. You get to be, really charged up sexually. And it's so much greater. So they lie. And then they bring gradually over some women over, then the woman becomes a woman. Whoa, 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 with the man there. And so then the women are persuaded into this lifestyle, give up their other lifestyle. And if they don't go along, they're simply forced or they're killed. And so fear and terror are introduced. And then the men began to work on the women to convert them. And eventually you got this proverbially called the fall of man. The love culture is gradually killed off. And a power over system is instituted. This triangle of the woman gets brought up to the chest and becomes a chest pump. Becomes a club and a spade up here. And it's power, power, power. And it's a gun. It's a gun, not love, it's a gun. And we have that today. We don't, in the love government, we need to recognize that evil, recognize that destructive thing, that death-dealing, suffering-producing thing that's going on. That's why we have the love government based on the love culture. Now getting back to the Catholic Mass, today it's in the Catholic Church, it's Roman Catholic, based with the Roman sword, Jesus on the cross. It's all rewritten. Where's the sex in that? Where's the sex Mass? It's gone. Except if you look very closely in the cracks, the vestments, the water, the woman's water is still there. The wine and the blood is still there. That's the woman's blood, her menstruation blood. It's there in between the spaces. I want to end now with giving the sex signs, and there are basically 4 or 5 of them. This is the sign of love. This is the clitoris. This is the sign of love. Clitoris and penis. This is the sign. Vaginal sex. What other signs are there? This is the sign. And I think there are more, but I can't remember what they are. And then the sign of the cross. Not the sign of the Roman Christ cross, which is way different. Way different. That's the Roman Empire terrorizing. And we still have that. 9/11 is a good example of that. That terrorizing process to make us docile, obedient to the system. The love government is not into that. We're into love. And the sign of that is the sign of the crest. And that's this sign, the circle, or the crest. Means the 2 moons, the 2 crescent moons coming together. It's a woman's circle. It's about love, and invites in all true lovers from all dimensions of space and time, which we've done here. We do. And they come in, the true lovers, men and women, from all dimensions come in and they're with us, and they participate in this sign. And so the sign is the sign of the crest, and it goes in the name of the lover, down here at the genitals, lover, the mother, pregnant belly, and her breasts, her nurturing breasts. Name of the lover, the mother, and the father. Father is important here. Father, woman. We come together, woman, and we take that energy, give it to ourselves, even kiss the clitoris, and then we give it out to the world. Love, love, always love. Thank you.